Hi buddies, hope you're doing fine. In this series, we will discuss about the important one words from the romantic age. If you are ready, let's get started. Coleridge's conversational poem Frost at Midnight is addressed to his son. A spring of love gushed from my heart and I bless them unaware. These lines are from the ancient mariner who wrote poems chiefly in the Scottish dialect, Robert Burns. According to Coleridge, the composition Kubla Khan was interrupted by a person. The Cottage Saturday Night is a famous poem written by Burns. Burns, The Jolly Beggars, draws on John Gay's The Beggars' Opera. Byron's English Bards and Scotch Reviewers is a satire. I awoke one morning and found myself famous. This sudden fame of Byron was caused by Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. Childe Harold's Pilgrimage first appeared in The Bride of Abydos. Byronic Hero first appeared as a closet drama. Most autobiographical of all Byron works is Manfred. Byron's Manfred is a closet drama. Don Juan is in Ottawa Rima. What is most common to Don Juan and Spenser's The Fairy Queen? Both are unfinished. Whose qualities are described by Lord Macaulay as a man proud, moody, and cynical, with defiance on his brow and misery at his heart, a scorner of his kind, implacable in revenge, yet capable of deep and strong affection. Byronic Hero. Shelley's first long poem is Queen Mab. Shelley's Prometheus Unbound is a closet drama. Prometheus Unbound is drawn on the Prometheus Bound of Aeschylus. Shelley translated Plato's Symposium. In Prometheus Unbound, the tyrannical Zeus is replaced by Demogorgon. Which of Keats' poems begin with the line, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever"? Endymion. Edinburgh Magazine included Keats in its Cockney School of Poetry. The Eve of Saint Agnes is a narrative poem in Spenserian stanza. Madeline figures in The Eve of Saint Agnes. Keats' odes were written between 1818 to 1819. The fancy cannot cheat so well as she is famed to do deceiving self. These lines are from Keats' Ode to the Nightingale. Keats contrasts Shakespeare's negative capability with Wordsworth's egotistical sublimity. Which poem ends with the equation of beauty and truth? Ode on a Grecian urn. Charmed magic casements opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairy lands forlorn. These lines occur in Ode to a Nightingale. The state when man is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts without any irritable reaching after fact and reason is called negative capability. Who defines the poet as a man endowed with more than usual organic sensibility? Wordsworth. Who wrote agisms in philosophy or not agisms until they are true upon our lives? Keats. Whose words are these? She knelt so pure a thing, so free from mortal trait. Shelley. Coleridge's Rime of Ancient Mariner is in the form and style of ballads. Byron's Childe Harold's Pilgrimage and Shelley's The Revolt of Islam and Adonis are in Spenserian stanza. Eleanor and Marine was an early version of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. Susan was the first versions of Emma. First Impressions was an early version of Pride and Prejudice. The poem which ends with "Do I wake or sleep?" Keats' Ode on the Nightingale. The romantic poet who is also successful as a playwright was Byron. Who said of Hamlet, "There is no play that suffers too much in being transferred to the stage"? Hazlitt. Who said, "The Lear of Shakespeare cannot be acted"? Lamb. Who said the characters of Shakespeare are so much the objects of meditation rather than of interest or curiosity as to their actions? Lamb. Charles Lamb's Essays of Elia first appeared in the London Magazine in the year 1820. In his The English Comic Writings, Hazlitt defends the Restoration dramatist. On the artificial comedy of the last century is an essay of Lamb. The growth of the novel in the 19th century owes much to circulating libraries. The author of The Mysteries of Udolpho is Mrs. Radcliffe. Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Women was published in the year 1792. Catherine Moorland figures in Austen's Northanger Abbey. Jane Austen parodies Gothic fiction in Northanger Abbey. Sanditon is the unfinished novel of Austen. The prelude was written as the first part of The Recluse. According to Wordsworth, the best object for poetry is incidents and situations from rustic life. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending we lay waste our powers. Little we see nature is ours. We have given our hearts away. Whose lines are these? Wordsworth. Mr. Wordsworth was to propose to himself as his object to give the charm of novelty to the things of every day. Whose words are these? Coleridge. Byron's first published volume of poetry is Hours of Idleness. Who is called the monarch of Parnassus and the artist of the north? Byron. Miss Taylor, Mr. Weston, Frank Churchill, and Jane Fairfax are characters in Emma. The Cloud and Epipsychidion are poem of Shelley. Shelley's unfinished poem is The Triumph of Life. Shelley's sympathy with the Greek independence struggle in which Byron died is seen as hellish. Shelley's last years were spent in Greece. Keats' sonnet, Much Have I Travelled in the Realms of Gold, presents his experience of reading Chapman's Homer. John Keats, who was killed off by one critic, whose words are these? Byron. Keats' Endymion presents Endymion's quest for Diana. The subtitle of Keats' Isabella is The Part of Basil. Keats' Isabella derives its plot from Boccaccio. The unfinished poem of Keats is Hyperion. Keats gave up Hyperion as he found the influence of Milton in it. The lines, heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter, occur in Ode on the Grecian urn. Rebecca and Rowena are characters in Ivanhoe. Poor Relations and Dream Children, a Reverie, or Essays of Lamb. The subtitle of Wordsworth, the prelude is Growth of a Poet's Mind. Austen's last completed novel is Persuasion. Who says of Jane Austen, a little bit of ivory 2 inches wide on which she worked with a brush so fine as to produce little effect after much labor? Jane Austen. Who compared Jane Austen with Shakespeare? Macaulay. Coleridge's aim in the lyrical ballads was to deal with supernatural elements and to make the unfamiliar familiar. It was agreed that my endeavors should be directed to persons and characters supernatural so as to transfer from our inward nature of human touch and a semblance of truth. Who wrote these lines? Coleridge in Biographia Literaria. At school he had been a playless day. Dreamer, yet even those days he gathered round him a host of admiring listeners. Once he had begun to talk. Whose words are these? S.T. Coleridge. Browning and Shelley denounced Wordsworth as a last leader and a moral eunuch, respectively, because Wordsworth became a Tory, accepted lordship and conservative ideology. Who is the most splendid example we have of the struggling, winning and losing, enjoying and scorning, aspiring and loving human spirit? Lord Byron. The term Byronism and Byronic hero implies the quality of passions, adventure, romance, impulsiveness, unconstancy, personal fascination, light-heartedness, loneliness, rebellion and negation. Who earned the title of the founder and chief exemplar of the Satanic school of poetry? Lord Byron. Lord Byron was a great interpreter of revolutionary iconism. Who said about Shelley, he was alone the perfect singing god, his thoughts, words, and deals all songs together? Swinburne. Keats as a poet is abundantly and enchantingly sensuous. Who pronounced this judgment about the poetry of Keats? Matthew Arnold. Charles Lamb began his literary career with the publication of Tale of Rosamund Grey. Lamb's first essay, Southsea House, appeared in the London Magazine in the year 1820. Who is known as Elia, the prince among English essayists? Charles Lamb. Charles Lamb's sister appears in his essays under the name of Bridget Elia or Bridget, who remarked Charles Lamb as a scorner of the field because of his disinterestedness in politics. Wordsworth, who wrote The English Comic Writers and the Spirit of the Age. William Hazlitt. Literature of power is to teach, and literature of knowledge is to move. Hence, the first is ruder, the second and or a soil. Who made the distinction between the literature of knowledge and the literature of power? Thomas D. Quincy. In which meter is Shelley's Ode to the West Wind written? Terza Rima, who wrote the following lines? This sweet to hear the watchdog, honest bog, bay deep mouth, welcome as we near our home. Byron, who wrote the following lines? The cock shrill, clarion, and the echoing horn no more shall rouse than from their lowly bed. Gray. The Life of Sir Walter Scott was written by Lockhead. In which year Waverley, the very first novel of Scott's Waverley series, was published? In the year 1814. Sir Walter Scott brought to the historical novel a knowledge that was pedantically exact but manageable, wide and bountiful. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you are having any suggestion, let me know in the comment section. We'll see you in next video. Tada, bye bye.